Hello, everyone. This is Liz Cohen, Director of Marketing Community at Our Crowd, and your host and moderator for today's event, Building the Future of Civilization, How to Overcome Global Challenges with Incentive Prize-Powered Innovation. This is a Q&A session with Dr. Peter Diamandis, founder of the XPRIZE and co-founder of HeroX, as well as Christian Cotichini, CEO and co-founder of HeroX. We're going to be engaging in a Q&A with Peter and Christian and try to leave some time for audience questions at the end. Please submit your questions using the GoToWebinar panel on your screen. So another thing, this webinar is being recorded and will be available for sharing afterwards, so just stay tuned. In your email, you'll get an update about that in the next 24 hours. So let's start with a brief history of XPRIZE and HeroX. The XPRIZE Foundation has its roots in the first incentive prize challenge launched by Dr. Peter Diamandis, the $10 million Ansari XPRIZE, which jump-started the commercial space industry, now a $1 billion industry. The XPRIZE Foundation has gone on to launch grand challenges that address global literacy, ocean health, medicine, and lunar exploration. XPRIZE was also integral to the launch of HeroX, an online platform that democratizes the innovation model that was developed by XPRIZE. In 2013, Dr. Diamandis, along with XPRIZE challenge designer Emily Fowler and software-as-a-service entrepreneur Christian Cotichini, founded HeroX as a means to bridge the gulf between people with problems and people with the will to solve those problems. XPRIZE and HeroX take their cues from an innovation model that is centuries old. Throughout history, incentive prizes have led to breakthroughs in transatlantic travel in the 18th and 20th centuries, the development of preservatives and the canning industry in the 19th century, and as mentioned, the jumpstart of the commercial space industry in the 21st century. So in the past 20 years, hundreds of incentive prizes have been run by governments, by foundations, by corporations, and now with HeroX, they can be run by anyone. So let's turn to two co-founders of HeroX, Peter Diamandis and Christian Cotichini, who are joining us today.
Hello.
Hey, Liz.
Hey, guys. We're going to kick off with a question to Peter. As XPRIZE grew into a foundation for taking on global grand challenges, was there an event or moment that first triggered the thought for you, there is a wider market for this?
So, for those of you who know anything about the XPRIZE know I've, since my childhood, been passionate about space, and the whole idea of the original XPRIZE for private spaceflight came from a desire that I had to want to create private spaceships to take me and my friends up into space. On the heels of it being so successful, right, a $10 million prize attracted 26 teams around the world who spent $100 million, we were able to see the XPRIZE as a large philanthropic platform for incentivized competition. And we were able to attract amazing people like Larry Page and Elon Musk and James Cameron onto our board of trustees. And we would begin to launch 2 or 3 $10 million, $30 million prizes. But then what started happening was this huge enthusiasm of people saying, hey, could we do a prize for this and a prize for this? You know, and people wanted prizes that were local at their company level, that were for the creation of a new product or a service. Some guy who ran skateboard parks wanted a prize for a new skateboard park design that could be disassembled and reassembled someplace easily. And that began the conversation of saying, is there really a platform play here that would democratize the ability for prizes to be used by everyone? Governments, national, city, philanthropists who've got tens of millions, or someone just got $10,000. And even companies where the XPRIZE today, when you win I'm in XPRIZE headquarters right now in Culver City. When you win an XPRIZE, there are two options. Either the team that wins keeps its intellectual property, or they open source it. But if you put up a purse, that cannot allow you, because we're a nonprofit, to keep the intellectual property yourself. So this conversation began, got the support of the board to begin to think about creating a spin-out, for-profit spin-out. And Emily Fowler, who you mentioned earlier, was working in prize design. She joined me to do a lot of the original work. We have an amazing board of directors, and I met Christian Cotichini on an XPRIZE adventure trip focused on space and oceans, and I was beginning to finance for HeroX, Christian wrote a $500,000 check on the spot, and I said, after I learned out more about him, I said, hey, what are you up to? And I learned his background, that he had built and sold 3 companies successful. The first one public and hit $1 billion. Second and third, he sold for somewhere between $50 to $100 million. I said, what are you doing now? And he said, I don't know, I'm investing. I said, come on in. And we made him our CEO, and he is one of the best CEOs on the planet I've ever met. So I have tremendous faith in Christian and the team he's built to really take the legacy we built at XPRIZE and make it available in a democratized platform play to the world.
That's great. That's excellent. And on that note, let's go over to Christian for a second and give us a little more about how, in the past, like Peter just said, you've been responsible for building several extremely successful software as a service ventures. In what ways does HeroX distinguish itself as a platform in the online marketplace?
Well, and thank you, Peter. It's awesome to be able to work on this project. And when I met Peter, I was already on track, really focused on crowdsourcing. The internet is just in its infancy in terms of its impact on human civilization. And what I've really realized is that crowdsourcing and the ability for the 3 billion minds that are connected to the internet, which is soon going to grow to many more, to collaborate and work together in ways that we haven't really leveraged before the internet. That is a trend that's really, really important and is opening up tremendous opportunities for the creation of marketplaces. And I really love XPRIZE. I've been following it for years, and so the whole idea of democratizing and simplifying the incentive prize model, that's something that really appealed to me. And I looked at the research around the efficacy of incentive prizes, and they really are wonderful tools, and they're very, very successful. And so I realized that there was definitely an opportunity to create a platform that just like Kickstarter created a platform that makes it easy for anybody with an idea to fundraise. I saw an opportunity with Peter and Emily to create a platform that lets anybody who stands to solve a problem or create a breakthrough to crowdsource that by putting up a prize, setting the guidelines, and accomplishing that goal. And so it's really a fundamental model for innovation. It's an open innovation model. It really follows the open wins view. And our results so far, which I'll talk about a little bit later, have been really remarkable and really amazing. And we're having a lot of success in the marketplace.
Okay, so speaking of which, let's move on to back to Peter. What are the products of these incentive prize challenges, and who's buying into this? Maybe explain a little more about what areas we're looking at when we talk about challenges. What's happening? What's the innovation?
So here's the point. We're living in a world where there are, as Christian said, today 2.8 billion people online. By 2020, at least 5 billion people online. And these individuals now have access to world's information on Google, 3D cloud printing, AI, robotics, synthetic biology, incredible technologies in the fingertips of individuals today that was not available to even governments 20 years ago. And so if you have a problem, and when I say you could be a government official in a town, in a city, in a state, in a country, because we work with governments at XPRIZE and at HeroX. You could be the CEO of a company. You can be someone who's just pissed at the situation and wants to get it fixed. The idea is to stop complaining about problems and to start solving them. And so the product here, the way this works is very simple. You don't need to know how to fix something. You just need to know the end state of what you want. So if you want a lake to become, that's polluted right now, to become clean, you can create a prize that says, listen, I'm going to pay X dollars, $10,000, $100,000 to the first person who figures out a way to clean this lake up and does it. So it's pay for success. It's pay on completion. It's not pay for someone who has a good idea, who thinks they can do it, who will try really hard. No, it's pay for someone after they pull it off. That's the amazing thing about an incentive prize competition. And so if you're an entrepreneur and you want to create a new product, a new piece of software, if you want to create a new thing, if you want to create, get 1 million people following your blogs, whatever it might be, if you can structure a defined competition that says, I don't care where you went to school, what you've ever done before, the first person who makes this happen, this very concrete, measurable, objective goal, they win the money. And then it's really how HeroX and on a larger scale, XPRIZE does its magic. So our customers are philanthropies, philanthropists, individuals, just individuals who want to make a difference in the world, have been successful, want to be significant, corporations, governments of all types. Did I miss anything, Christian?
No, that's great. I totally agree. We've been working with almost every type of organization, really looking at almost every type of problem, and it's really amazing the diversity and how powerful prizes are. It's a huge world out there, and somewhere out there there's somebody who has an idea or a proof of concept that solves your problem. If it's solvable by the laws of physics, it's solvable as an incentive prize.
So from there, I think it would be great to hear some examples of what's going on over at HeroX right now and the way it's being used, some good stories.
Sure. Yeah, let me jump into, I've got some examples I'd like to share. So basically, we've been running prizes for about 2 years now on the HeroX platform, and we've had some great and amazing successes, some of which I'll share right now. So this is one that we just awarded. The Rockefeller Foundation, they really struggled with getting sharing of the impact that their giving was hitting. They submit thousands of grants out to charitable foundations, and they really want to get that the content and really get the impact of what that giving was done. And so they would hound their grantees for that content, and it was a real struggle. So what we did with Rockefeller is we launched a storytelling challenge. So it's really simple, and they issued that out, and they were expecting about 40 or 50 submissions, and they were super excited. They received over 200 submissions from 25 countries, and in fact the prize was so successful that they had originally planned on offering 2 prizes at $50,000, and they had such great success in their responses that they decided to add a 3rd prize and create 3 prizes. The second one I'd like to talk about is one that we've just launched, the Integra Gold Rush Challenge, and this is really fun. This is a $1 million prize being launched by Integra Gold, which is a Canadian gold mine company, a public company, and they have an old property that they've acquired the mineral rights to, and they have 6 terabytes of geological data spanning 80 years around this data. So what they've decided to do is open source or publicly share the data and invite anybody who wants to help identify the location of the gold reserves in this property. They can win $1 million. And so what's cool about this one is we announced it a couple weeks ago, and we already have over 100 pre-registered competitors who are going to work on the prize. So that one was really exciting for us. Another one real quick, the Cognitive Computing Challenge. This is being run by Dynamic Risk, and this is an AI challenge. So this organization, they have a lot of manual work that needs to be done to analyze documents, And what they want to do is basically create a computer algorithm, using AI, that will help them discern key information in documents and basically automate a lot of their document processing abilities. They're very, very confident that the technology is out there. They just don't have access to it. They don't have a solution that works for them. So they've launched a $200,000 prize, which we've been marketing for a little while, and we already have 87 people registered for that one, which is really great. I've got 2 more to share. This is the Chime challenge, and this is targeting. This is a $1 million prize targeting at one of the key issues around the wrong data getting attached to your file is actually quite high. It's actually a huge problem, and it's holding back the ability to really leverage information technology in medicine. And so rather than waiting for governments and the vendors to solve this problem, Chime has stepped forward to create a $1 million prize for somebody who can create proof of concept around how to create a reliable patient ID solution. And then finally, I'll talk about the clinical trial innovation challenge. So this is an example of a smaller one, and this is really about creating awareness of clinical trials for cancer patients. There's one of the things that there's a huge demand right now for cancer patients to sign up for clinical trials. There's an amazing amount of innovation that's happening in cancer treatment, and the lack of participants in these clinical trials is hindering that innovation. So, so they've put together a prize targeting at what are the ways that we can more successful and more cost-effectively get patients to be aware of these trials and to be able to sign up for them. So those are some examples of some prizes that we have on our platform. The other thing I'll add is that we've got an amazing pipeline of prizes. So I'm actually really excited about some of the prizes we're going to be launching in the next little while. We're working with some really amazing organizations, individuals. We're going to be launching a range of prizes from both the small scale prizes all the way up to some large ones.
That's really great stuff, and I want to follow up with a few questions, actually. First of all, when should an organization or individual decide that this is the way they should go as opposed to hiring the R&D? Let's say, that is an option for a company or a corporation. What's the critical point where they're like, this is the way that we need to go?
Christian, I mean, I'll point out one thing, which is my philosophy has always been, when given a choice, take both. So, within a company, if you hire a team to do something, to build something, you're limiting yourself to the cognitive capabilities of that team, that individual, which may be fine, but you're not tapping into the global genius that's out there. And if you've got if you're on a massive deadline and you've got to get something done immediately, and time is more important than money and quality, then you hire and you put people in a skunk works and you do the best you can. If you're looking for really breakthrough solutions, really novelty, you're looking for a wide variety of approaches, and you're looking to find out where in the world all of these needles in the haystack are and have those needles come to you, prizes work really well in that regard. And of course, both are an option. You don't have to, but as it turns out, in a lot of data mining competitions, like in this gold challenge, in the insurance business, it turns out that crowdsourcing the innovation beats your in-house experts by not just a little bit. We're talking orders of magnitude.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Peter said, and I'll add that the way we look at it is, the using crowdsourcing approaches is complementary to the in-house work that you're doing. And what we run regular workshops where we help organizations understand how challenges work and what the best candidates are in what the work that they're doing around that. And the data is really remarkable. There's been a tremendous amount of data around innovation, and as everybody on the webinar probably knows, the rate of innovation is accelerating, and it's accelerating that it's accelerating. And so organizations are facing a lot of disruption, and the question is, how do you keep up? You're just going to keep on piling in more and more R&D resources in-house. We believe that every organization should be allocating a percentage of their R&D dollars, and for charitable foundations, they should be allocating a percentage of their granting to use incentive prizes to tackle the breakthroughs in the innovation. Because the beauty of an incentive challenge is you only pay for success. So it allows you to be daring. It allows you to take risks and try to find out, is there a breakthrough solution? Is there an exponential solution rather than the linear approaches that we're applying now? And it's very complementary, because often what happens is the breakthrough that you get from the crowd can now be brought into your internal teams, and they can refine them, mature them, commercialize them, and launch them. The other thing I'll say real quick about that is, if you look at the data, most breakthroughs don't come from the experts. Most breakthroughs in industries come from the outsiders, the misfit thinkers, the crazy dreamers. Charles Lindbergh was called the Flying Fool when he flew the Spirit of St. Louis across the Atlantic. He did things that other teams didn't try doing, and he won the prize. And that pattern is repeated over and over again. You look at amazing entrepreneurs like Elon Musk. It was an outsider of the car business. He was an outsider of the space business. And that's where innovation comes from, is from those outsiders. And if you're interviewing and selecting a winning team, a team, you're going to go with the proven, the track record, the experts. You're going to end up hiring the safe choices, who are, frankly, probably the opposite of where true breakthroughs are going to come from.
On that note, how does HeroX as a platform assist and support the organizations or companies or individuals in actually marketing their challenges? How do they get the word out about this?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we've really embraced an open model. So we are really focused on being an outlet into social media, onto the internet, out to the experts, and our whole organization and our whole platform is based upon getting our messages, our movements, and our challenges out into the crowd, out onto Facebook and Twitter and the blogosphere and Reddit and other places, and pushing it out there where the 3 billion people live, rather than trying to create a community on HeroX of inventors and competitors who we kind of protect and hide their identity from. We're really focused on an open graph style model. And so our job is to, and we work with each of our sponsors for challenges, and we provide a set of tools that make it really easy for them to go through the steps of identifying the thought leaders, the communities that they want to reach out to, and pushing out there and getting those innovators to sign up and participate in the prize. So we really see that our job is outreach. And the other thing I'll say about incentive prizes is that historically they've been really difficult and challenging, and they require a lot of kind of expertise. And we're really trying to make it super simple for anybody to be able to use incentive competitions as a tool. We provide the tools, the technology, we simplify and automate, and then we also provide training, education, and webinars, and that all of that is basically offered as part of using our platform. And then we also have we're building a very large bench of resources that work on designing these challenges and helping support them, and we make those resources available to our clients. And basically, we're creating an ecosystem where if you want to launch a HeroX challenge and you want to do it yourself, we make it extremely cost-effective to do that. If you need a team and you want to outsource a lot of the marketing and the community outreach, we have resources that we can introduce you to make that happen as well.
So another question that's come in is, surely there are cases where the, let's call them uh, problem solvers, the teams or individuals who are actually out there doing it, incentivized by the reward, sure, but it could be that they're even spending more money on their own research and development to solve the problem than they're actually going to get. And what we're wondering is, so what's the added incentive? I mean, what are people getting out of this more than just the prize money, or is it just about the prize money? It seems like there's something driving.
I'll take a first shot there and just say, yeah, in fact, it's our expectation that teams spend as much or more of the prize than the prize purse. We actually try and set the prize purse as the amount of money, at least on the XPRIZE front, that we think a team's going to have to spend to try and win this thing. The added advantage is, first of all, in some scenarios, the team owns its intellectual property. In those scenarios, it's won the money and has developed the technology and can therefore go and market it and make more money. Other major advantages of the publicity we provide through HeroX, through XPRIZE, this global platform to publicize, to make the teams the hero, and that's where the name HeroX came from. Our job is to make the teams competing for these HeroX challenges the heroes, the problem solvers, the people who've stopped complaining and are now fixing. And then finally, it's a lot of people, all of us, who are deeply passionate about solving a problem. We go and work on that problem whether anyone pays us or not. We're not doing it for the dollars. The money credentials the problem and says, hey, everybody, this is important, pay attention. But people will spend far more because it's their passion, their purpose that's driving them to want to go and do this.
Yeah, I totally agree. The way I like to talk about it is it's the incentive prize model really helps take people who are already innovating, who are already problem solving, who already have a passion, and they start working on your specific guidelines. If your prize isn't around, they'd be working on something similar. They would be just doing stuff as a hobby or because they have a passion and they want to change the world. And so an incentive prize is a way of focusing that energy and accelerating it and helping support those inventors and entrepreneurs, because now they can get resources. A tremendous number of these competitors get financing, so they get funded in part because that prize has legitimized the initiative. And so it's not this is not a mercenary model where we're looking for hired contractors and hired guns to be motivated by money. This is a tapping into a fundamental human need, which is to innovate and to push forward and to compete, and also to collaborate. I mean, if you look around, the modern world, we as a species, we love to drive forward. We're always striving forward, and the prize model is just tapping into that innate instinct.
So on that note, looking at the other side, like in the clinical trials example you gave, is there currently an option, or maybe it's a future idea, where individuals could actually contribute to the prize money because they have their own sort of incentive in this happening? Is there an option like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We support both crowdfunded, so we can have a couple of models that we work with our clients. Some clients, they come and they just write a check in terms of the prize amount themselves. Others will find co-sponsors, and we support that as well. And then we also have crowdfunding, and there's no limitation in mixing and matching. So we have a number of organizations who are launching prizes, and they're doing crowdfunding. They've got some co-sponsors they're bringing on board, and they have some of their own capital as well. And that model is really powerful. And by the way, I'm a big believer in the crowdfunding component of allowing on the sponsorship side of prizes, allowing people who care and have a passion about solving a problem, they can literally self-organize. And if you see something that you don't like in the world, and you see a positive innovation, a breakthrough that you can articulate on our platform, and you're willing to put up, let's say I come up with some great guidelines to solve a world problem, and I'm willing to put up $100 for that prize. Okay, well, $100 isn't a lot, but if I go out and I evangelize my vision and I get 10,000 other people to each pledge $100, well, that's $1 million. So now I've just created an organization that's got $1 million of funding behind it, and that's going to really make an amazing prize. And here's the kicker. You only pay for success. So you can set the guidelines, you can set the deadline, and if that doesn't happen, you don't, it doesn't cost you anything. So once people realize that this is a pay-for-performance model, it's extremely compelling from the crowdfunding standpoint.
It's almost kind of crazy that people don't use this more than they do right now, and I think it's just because they don't know how to, and it hasn't been made simple as a platform, which is what the team at HeroX under Christian's leadership is doing. But I imagine, frankly, almost every corporation, every city, every town running these competitions at scales like we've never seen before, because it involves your employees, it involves your customers, it involves your citizens, and it gets them thinking about solving problems and actually gets the problem solved faster in a way that's much more authentic to the needs that you have. So it's really very powerful, and I think it's going to, I think in this millennial mindset is going to be taken up at a very rapid rate.
And I'll just add a real quick add-on to that, you know, we have a number of models for these prizes. They're not all, you know, winner takes all, one team wins. We have multi-stage prizes where you can you know, have a first phase where they submit their ideas, and then you shortlist down to 10 teams, for example. Those teams can even receive funding to proceed forward to the next step. And so we have, you know, basically a construction kit that allows you to structure your competition challenge using many different models. And that approach can really create, you know, a win-win for everybody that's involved in really solving almost any kind of problem, including cooperative problems where the teams eventually need to cooperate together in order to solve a problem.
Are challenges taken on the HeroX platform, are they vetted at all? Are there certain criteria that have to be passed?
Yeah, you know, as long as they're ethical, legal, and safe, and socially responsible, we support them at a high level. We vet every single one that's launched on our platform, and make sure that, you know, it's set up for success, and it's a good challenge to run. And, you know, right now we're very hands-on with each of our prizes, and we're really building a community of support to really create the right support to make sure that, you know, the challenges are set up for success, and we're helping with our know-how to empower, you know, every sponsor that's on our platform to do the best job that they can.
And now looking forward, this is a question for both of you. Where do you see HeroX going in the next 3 to 5 years? Where is this headed?
Christian, I'll just say and then hand it over to you as CEO. I mean, the reason we started HeroX was to try and democratize what XPRIZE was doing. XPRIZE does rather large, global, high-priced competitions, and HeroX is the chance to democratize it. And I don't know, how many challenges do you expect to have year-end, and how many do you like to have year-end 3 years from now?
Well, right now we have an amazing pipeline of challenges, and, you know, I'm not exactly sure how many will be live, but we're dealing with several dozen at this point in time, and some really exciting ones. You know, our focus right now is making sure that the platform is really being successful. So we're focusing on quality over quantity, and the efficacy of our platform. We're also creating an ecosystem of partners and experts that will help create the support for us to scale, and so we can really scale this thing over the next few years. As large as the interest is for using challenges to solve problems, and for how many problems there are. And we all know there's a ton of problems out there in the world, and this is one of the best ways to solve it. And I think that this whole idea that, as Peter was saying earlier, this becomes a commonly used tool. And what I really love about it is the idea that I can be watching the news and seeing something negative, or something that bothers me. And nowadays, you can sign a petition, right? Like think about the tools we've got with that, right? I can sign a petition. I don't like this, or I can give money to a charity, right? I can donate $50 to a charity, which I don't really get an impact of that. I mean, it goes into this vortex, and I don't see where the money goes. There doesn't seem to be any accountability, and frankly, for most people, the experience is now they get telemarketed, and they get brochures asking for the next $50 and the next $50. And so I love the democratizing effect that this has, and the fact that rather than being stuck with negative, thinking about things negatively, you can get involved in the conversation of saying, well, how can we solve this problem? And how can we get together? How can we band together? We're not going to wait for governments to solve the problem. We're not going to wait for big organizations to solve the problem, but we can self-organize, and we can raise money in a way that's responsible and safe, because you only pay for success, and we can make a stand. And that democratizing of the power that around innovation, that is the part that really excites me. That's the reason why I stepped in to take on this amazing challenge, and that's what I really want to see happen.
That's amazing, and it's a great way to close up. Thank you so much, guys. This has been an excellent conversation, and I just want to say to the audience, if you have more questions about the kind of innovation HeroX is driving and how you can get involved, feel free to be in touch by emailing webinars@ourcrowd.com, or you can tweet at us at ourcrowd. The webinar will be available shortly for rewatching and sharing. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been wonderful. And good luck.
Thank you.